Hello and welcome to the In the Money Media YouTube channel, the In the Money Players podcast. I'm your host, Peter Thomas Fornital, here to talk about the Laurel Park late pick 5 on this Saturday. Very excited to do that and very excited to bring back to the show one of the people upon whom we rely when it comes to all things regarding Maryland racing. Kali Francois, how have you been doing?
I am doing great. It's that typical March weather where it's just a roller coaster. Instead of a roller coaster of emotions, it's a roller coaster of weather and precipitation over here in Maryland. I gotta say, Pete, that the grass is getting a bit greener, as in not just the grasses on the lawns in the neighborhoods, but on the turf as well. So excited to start getting into turf racing next weekend. But until then, we of course have a lovely stakes packed action this Saturday over here.
We're going to get through your thoughts on those races, but that is good to know that the grass is getting greener, literally and figuratively, for those of us who love betting on your turf racing. Let's start off with some stakes action here. Race number 7, the Heavenly Cause, 1 mile on the dirt, fillies and mares, $100,000 in the pot. How do you want to get this party started?
Listen, take the money, honey. This is her race to win or lose. Whatever she wants to do in this race, she's probably the end result is going to be the same. She's probably going to be end up winning. Now, did want to let you guys know that Boutwell Time is double entered. Will be running down here in Maryland. So basically, that's how I think the race is going to go. I think at this point, Take the Money, honey is able to handle all of these different distances, including that in particular 1-turn mile that we have, but she's been able to do things a ton of different ways. So she's so push button in this field. I go 6-5, I go 6-3-5-1 here. So with Boutwell Time in, gonna sit nicely there. Complexity Jane, remember, she's a bit I just want to say to you guys, she's a bit quirky. She did her thing. She kind of took Sheldon to the front last time out, and I don't think that was the plan. The 1-turn mile things makes things a lot more uncomplicated. Sheldon is just going to try and keep her in line, and I wouldn't be surprised if Complexity Jane went with it, and I wouldn't be doubly not surprised if Take the Money, honey just sat right off of Complexity Jane and nailed her at the wire. Remember, second wire finish over here for the Heavenly Cause.
Take the Money, honey, just so obvious. I was not creative. That was the way that I wanted to go. And I love what you said. Push button the trip will work out. The class is obviously there, and I was just going to keep this one simple. But 6-3-5-1 for you to kick things off as we pivot to our 8th race on the card, the Frank Whiteley 7 furlongs, 100,000 once again. And this is a race that historically can come up pretty fast. Maybe this group a little bit below in terms of the figures expected for one like this, but some really interesting runners. One runner who's definitely run fast enough is Point Doom. Which way were you leaning in here?
Well, wanted to give you a heads up. Point Doom is actually going to be running in New York. In the Carter. So just a heads up, they're gunning for it. They're up in New York, so they're not going to be running here, which leaves us still with a really significant field, a very competitive field in this Frank Whiteley. So that's where I actually go with a touch of a price, just because these numbers, as you mentioned, they haven't been quick historically, as opposed to the rest of these runners, or the runners that we have in here. But I mean, Quince Brew and Blue Kingdom, they're both going to be, Quince Brew is going to be coming speedy off of that effort last time out. A reminder, guys, Ned Allard told Forrest Boyce, the jockey, and he's going to tell her again this Saturday, do not hit this horse. So if you see that happen, just know I gave the info out. So I actually go with a price horse. I go with Wooster. He won this last year. Kieran McGee first in the barn. Usually Kieran McGee makes them a little bit zippier. That time, last time out, so not the case. Came from off the pack, very measured, targeted the horse. I love what I'm seeing. So Kieran McGee normally doesn't enter horses in stakes unless he really means it, and that's where I say why not go for it. But it's a really a good try race between this for me, between the 3, 4, and 7.
3, 4, and 7, but in the opposite order, 4, 3, and 7. Is that how you're seeing it?
Yeah, I think I worry that Quince Brew is just going to bounce. And because he went to the lead last time out, I think Blue Kingdom, because he saved himself a little bit just for that end battle with Quince Brew, he's going to have a little bit more in the tank for Saturday. So that's where I say I go with a price, and there's a chance Quince Brew and Blue Kingdom might be too busy battling each other, where Wooster can just kind of slide on through. I think also, because who's on Wooster again? Schwann, yeah, he knows this horse. It's going to be an interesting race, but I will totally not be surprised if Blue Kingdom and Quince Brew just kept battling each other head to head, and were 5 lengths ahead of the rest of the field. So it could go a lot of different ways, I gotta say, here in the Frank Whiteley.
I liked Quince Brew in terms of the draw with the new
Yep.
composition of the race. I thought that might be advantageous for Forrest to be able to play the hand, hopefully at the right time. I'm going to go in that direction. I'll try the 7, 4, 3, and 7 are your numbers. More stakes. The Primatone, or excuse me, Primonetta.
Yeah.
Furlongs on the dirt. Fillies and Mares. Once again, another $100,000 listed stake here at Laurel on this loaded Saturday. That's a loaded day of racing all over. Who's your
Yeah.
idea of the winner in this one?
Here's the thing. I think people are going to go a lot of different directions. I do go with Wondrous for Brendan Walsh. A pattern change last time out. She's going to come in with a lot of different confidence than what we've seen in her previous form. Yes, they're coming over here to try and get black type, and I think solely for that, they considered her for the matron. She's been the best bred horse in every single race she's been in, and now the light bulb has officially switched on. I also go with Alani underneath. Very, very strong case for Alani with Michael Moore and Andy Hernandez. Disco Evo came back in a big way, but Alani fended off a challenger starting at the 5/16 through completely put the competition away. I just think Alani is very much a threat in here. Twirling Beauty, I think I worry about her on the inside. I don't think she likes the inside post. She's not going to like playing that defensive speed pressure.
You and I are in lockstep here. I thought
Yeah.
Wondrous made all the sense in the world. Talented, still very much on the up. And I can pump in plenty of blue sky, and I think Wondrous is going to get the right kind of trip. That is my pick as we move on to the Native Dancer, which goes as race number 10, going a mile and a 16th here. You could say it with me at this point. $100,000 in the pot.
Yep.
Who do you like?
Okay. I think Wild Vine is, excuse me, potentially gonna take this all the way. I mean, that was a legit run last time out. I don't expect any different. This is a monster horse. I like this horse also. This horse also can win coming off of a wet dirt effort. We've seen that in the form as well. Very, very difficult one going to beat. Go wide in this race because I go 6, 9, 8, 1. One may be a scratch, so I go with 5 underneath. So Wild Vine, Pay Billy, Raise Cane, and Excellent Start with Late Night Call mixed in there.
What do you make of Warp 9 specifically? Not among your not
Not
among your
among my picks.
Celestes. Yeah, but a
Yeah,
horse that's run fast enough, certainly. One that was on my radar.
sure, and I can understand why, because he was exactly where he needed to be in the post-time stakes. He got a good trip. He had to go wide to divert away from a loose horse, which was the right move. He stuck with the loose horse on the front side, and he stayed with that horse instead of chasing the leader. So it was just, I'm worried again. This one, I do slightly worry about as an individual about a run after that wet dirt run last time out. So
Mhm.
I have excuses from the post time to be sure. And the mud, yes, move this horse up a little bit. I just worry about the bounce effect here. And I think this race is too wide open to any little thing like that is just going to kind of make or break the cut with me.
I had it 3-6. You went 6, 9, 8, 1.
Yep.
Anything else on any of these stakes races before we move on to the lucky last?
No, I think, the Native Dancer is going to be your toughest race. If you're doing a ticket of our Lake Pick 5, again, our low 12% takeout amongst the industry, go wide in that race. You're going to need all the help you can get.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That is one of our favorite bets. We talk about it every time we do these shows. Another thing we talk about every time we do these shows is the handicapping guide, of which you're a part. You can go there, laurelpark.com/picks. We've got our mutual friend and ITM cohort, Will Humphrey, doing trip
Yeah.
notes, great analysis from Dan. So much good stuff in there. I want folks to make sure to check that out. I mean, why wouldn't you get Laurel are so on the cutting edge of what the game needs in terms of these player-friendly bets and also
Yep.
this data, including free DRF past performances that you can get right over at that URL. What did I forget to tell people about the guy?
I mean, listen, Keith loves the track bias that they
Yes.
make for every race day. Dan gives you a full analysis, his top 3 picks of the races for every single race. He gives out stats as well. He gives out horses to watch that he's seen work out in the morning that are going to be coming up not only at Laurel, but at other tracks around as well. Rider changes advantages, whether you had a rider who had a couple of double calls or triple calls or quadruple calls on the overnight. He lets you know that where the changeup was made. We have facts. I put in the keys. I'll probably, for Saturdays, I just sent them in. I probably have 5 different keys on the day. That's how this day is going to play here. And again, I'm trying to think of what else that I'm missing on here. John Piasek, he gives a recap of the day prior. All of our picks from the whole team is also included with that as well. So just a multitude of information. It's phenomenal. I'm very proud to be a part of something that's so innovative for our industry and much needed as well, Pete. Thanks for bringing that up.
laurelpark.com/picks. That's the URL. All right, the program from here. We'll do this last race, and then I'm going to come back to you for a best bet. So I don't know if you have one among your keys to pick, but you can rattle that around while we talk about this nightcap, the one that will pay off that low takeout pick 5. We're going 6 furlongs on the dirt for these 3-year-old fillies, claiming prices 20 down to 16. When it comes to this late pick 5, how are we going to get paid?
I mean, I still would, because I would go a little touch wider. I go 6-5-3-2. So I know the 6 is going to be taking a lot of money. Just taking another quick glance. I mean, but you've got some competitive horses coming into this finale here. So yeah, 6-5. I would go 6-5-3-5-6 in this last leg. Pete, what about you?
3, 5, 6 were the official numbers. I'll write that down for the picks we send around to In the Money Plus. I mean, our short lists are very, very similar. I had a bunch of horses within a handful of points in terms of the figures. You know, I wanted the 5 and 6 involved. What about you've got your top pick has to be in there as well. Is there a story to be told about the one runner, Amir? I was thinking about potentially really spreading out in this spot, getting that Blakers LASIX makeover, just trying to make a case for one that might be a little bit of a price. Not my top pick in the race, but I was actually maybe I only really talked about 1 or 2 horses in every other race. So I was thinking I might try to use 4 in here.
Go for it, especially if it's the last leg. Usually I love a dramatic single, but in this case, you're going to have singles on your ticket earlier in the card. This is a race I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to open up with saying, yes, I said go wide in the stake and the feature stake, but also go wide here, because you have all of these horses. The horse that's taking in all the money is going to be the Ness and Hazelwood horse, right, coming over from Parks. But when it comes to the one, Elmir, I think he loves to be inside. That's exactly what he's getting. I think there's enough wiggle room for him to let that speed go and do a little bit of that outside trip. But he's comfortable on the rail in the first part of the race. That's what's the most important for his run here today.
Great. We'll see how it plays out. I'm going to officially go 1, 6, 3, and 5, 3, 5, 6 for Kali to close it out. Lots of stuff we're going to be talking about. We're going to be basically on In the Money, going daily to the Derby from next week. So I'd love to get you to be part of some of those conversations. Obviously,
thanks.
That'd be super fun. We'll be touching base about Laurel and all these other player-friendly innovations. Great having you. We'll see you on the simulcast feed this weekend.
Of course, and wanted to give you guys a heads up too that we do have a handicapping contest coming up for Tessio Day. It is our Preakness Preview Day at Laurel Park Handicapping Challenge, and so that's going to be on the 18th. A buy-in of your player bankroll is $250. The prize pool contribution is $250. A total buy-in of $500. So you can do on-site or online through Laurel Park right here, or ExpressBet TV, G4, NJ Bets, or Twin Spires. Of course, 2 NHC seats and 1 BCBC seat, along with some cash prizes, Pete.
I love you guys getting involved in the contest game. Another terrific development down there. All right, we will put a pin in this and come back and talk to you again soon. Great having you on. Thanks to everybody there at the MJC for being such great partners with us these last couple of years, and looking forward to keeping it rocking and rolling. That's going to do it for this show. Give us a comment. Let us know. Oh, I lied. I said I was going to come back to you for a best bet, and then I forgot.
Oh, you did. Well,
I'll set you up for that so we can pull it out as a pretty clip, and then I'll get back to the close. Kali, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. Best bet on the card.
Take the money, honey. Pretty simple.
Recalibrate the case just for a sentence.
Sorry, guys. So when Take the Money, honey, I mean, listen, she's coming in at that mile. She's proven at that distance before. She's push button. At this point, you can put her anywhere within the race. She's gutsy. She's game. She can also win by 6 lengths. There's a lot that this girl can do.
Thanks so much to you, and thanks to everybody for watching the In the Money Media YouTube channel.